I started investing in these projects very, very early. When I was wearing only 2 shoes and Accra cloth, and I was trekking, and I was entering public transport to go and preach, and my wife would sit in the boot of our school bus. When they tell her, go to sit in the altar, my wife will say, altar. Sitting in the altar does not pay school fees.
I say you cannot. I say why? I say because I'm Dr. Apoki.
I'm your friend Dr. Charles Apoki.
I remain your friend, Dr. Charles Apoki. Happy birthday to my dear grandson, Luca Ufoma Apoki. Today is his 2nd birthday. It's a thing of joy to be alive to see what you had believed God for as a young man. I remember those of you who know me at Aba and in the East, anytime I was preaching, I will tell you that I want to have grandchildren all over the world. And that's about 20 years back. Particularly those of you in the IPCI with Reverend Dr. Chidi Okorafor at Obehe then and in various centers. I would tell you that I want to have a grandson like Osaze or Denwige. And I'm so glad God has answered my prayers specifically. My grandson is a European citizen. And I knew beforehand that this nation was going to degenerate to where we are now. And I know the next level it will get to. So I started planning ahead, like your politicians, like your community leaders, like your general overseers. So as far back as 2008, I sent my first son overseas. Let me tell you what you don't know. If you have not left this country, the most foolish commentators on YouTube and Facebook are those who have not left Nigeria and are those whose fathers did not plan for them, who do not know how they are being deceived. That young man, from the day his mother was pregnant, they started taking care of her. His sex was determined, and we started planning. And then the mother just had show. An ambulance carried her from church to hospital. They did not look for keke napep. They did not look for okada. They did not carry her to go and queue for petrol while going. And Mopo did not stop them on the way. And she was told that she will not leave the hospital. She's a cardiologist, a medical doctor. She was told that she will not leave the hospital until she delivers, and that she has the option of an elective cesarean section or natural delivery. She chose natural delivery. I want to appreciate one of our sponsors, Andor Global Foods. This is the Andor garlic powder. This is Andor ginger. I used it this morning, very nice. This is Andor turmeric powder. You can either add them to your tea or add them to your food. Talking about food, this is Andor dried catfish, 1 kilogram, delicious. You can see their phone numbers and their contacts beneath the video. Patronize Andor Global Foods, NAFDAC registered. She delivered. She was sending me the pictures of the meals She was eating in hospital. And one of the days I replied, I said, why was I not born in that country? But I thank God I'm a Nigerian. And she stayed in hospital for 10 days. All these scans that they were doing scans regularly. After 10 days, she delivered. She walked out of hospital without paying a penny because social insurance guaranteed payment for her. As she was leaving, they gave her 100 pieces of diapers for my grandson. And at the age of 1 month, the state started paying my grandson an allowance, started paying her an allowance that is more than the minimum wage you people are fighting for here. The next thing is that the mother was entitled to 2 years, hear me, 2 years maternity leave, 2 years maternity leave with pay. 2 years maternity leave with pay. You don't do that in the US. You don't do that in several countries. And here well. During this 2 years maternity leave, the mother is entitled to stay in a hotel for a weekend with my son, paid for by government. You are here talking nonsense. 2 years maternity leave. And then that boy will go to school free from nursery to PhD level. In fact, when the father was defending his PhD program, he was making noise in the hall. And the professor said, see you in 20 years' time. They have programmed him that in 20 years, when he will be 20-something, he should have his PhD paid for. And he can travel around Europe. And at one time, I don't know if it is still there, he could travel around his country with an ID card free. Tragically, the GDP of that country is half of that of Nigeria. You will say we have a larger population. Yes, but at least we can live a better life. One mumu said, why would my son go and marry a European? Are there no African girls to marry? That's what he did. Mumu unexposed. I'm a wise man. I started investing in these projects very, very early. When I was wearing only 2 shoes and Accra cloth, and I was trekking, and I was entering public transport to go and preach, and my wife will sit in the boot, in the trunk of our school bus. When they tell her, go to sit in the altar, my wife will say, altar, sitting in the altar does not pay school fees. We were laboring, buying land and selling land to pay children's school fees. Today, that child is a gain. The free education he will enjoy is a gain. His European citizenship is a gain. And I like the way he's playing football. When he comes to be the captain of the Super Eagles, it's a gain. And international exposure, citizenship that he has is a gain. And being married to a cardiologist is a gain. Because my final project is to build a specialist hospital in the area where my father comes from. I'm building a polytechnic in my mother's side. is to build a specialist hospital. I have an orthopedic surgeon as a son. I have a cardiologist as a daughter-in-law. Me, I'm a medical doctor. My wife is a nurse midwife. We're going to get married to, most likely, another medical doctor. And then we have these hospitals staffed by specialists. And we can bring any specialist from anywhere in the world, my classmates, my juniors, my friends, my partners, to come and do surgeries in Uroboland, Urianiland, because years back, I marked in Isaiah chapter 61, 1998, foreigners shall shepherd your flocks. Foreigners will work in my schools. Foreigners will work in my specialist hospital. Foreigners will be my grandchildren and my great-grandchildren. I wanted to be a global citizen long time ago. Lord, thank you for Luca. Thank you for other grandchildren that will come. The Europeans came here and colonized us. Me, Dr. Apoki, unless you understand Yoruba, now you sabi. Luca, happy birthday to you. You will be a great Apoki. You will take the name far and wide. You will run with a greater vision than your grandfather. Because thank God for the internet. And as I discussed with your father, you will watch these videos when you grow up. And you will know that you had a great father who invested for gain, and that you are the prophet, and you will be living on profit as your grandfather lived on profit. I have a seminar coming up on the 5th and on the 6th of July. It is tagged Investing for Gain, Profit, and Living on Profit. You must pay between today and tomorrow. Seminar fee is now 15,000 naira for late registration. Send a message to me on +234 7052136763, and I will send you the flyer. You can see that over cents they worry me. I am the area grandfather, the man that is not too normal, Dr. Charles Apoki.